is the new 2026 Kia Stonic. Now the Stonic has always been a practical, fairly well priced, fun-loving small SUV. This new model still is, but there are kind of three main problems, or not problems, but just considerations that you may need to highlight. Now obviously these are just nitpicking, but we'll start with the first one, the steering wheel. It takes on that weird hexagonal, almost square shape. I just think it's too big for this cabin, but also it doesn't match the rest of the cabin's design theme. The second issue with the new model, I'll talk about the powertrain in a second, but it's now a mild hybrid system, which means you don't have a space saver spare or a full-size spare. You've got a battery pack in the back and a tyre repair kit. Not a major issue for a vehicle like this. This is meant to be just a city runaround. It's not like it's a grand touring family car, but still it is worth highlighting. And then the last problem is the price. It's now around $36,000 excluding on-road costs. That's about $3,000 more than the previous model. This does come with more technology though, including inside and out, mainly under the bonnet. The 1 litre turbo petrol 3-cylinder engine carries over, but it's paired up with a mild hybrid system to help with economy, also provide a little bit of extra boost when you're driving along as well, and it provides very smooth stop-start capability. Power is up from 74 kilowatts to 88 kilowatts. And the curb weight is not actually that much different than the predecessor. This has a curb weight of around 1,230 kilograms. The predecessor was like 1,225 or something like that, according to Redbook stats. So it's not actually that much heavier. It continues with a 7-speed dual clutch automatic with front wheel drive. No CVT automatic here, fortunately. Boot space remains unchanged according to Redbook, 352 litres, which is not too bad for this kind of compact small SUV class. And you can fold down the rear seats to expose 1,155 litres. Those are the exact same figures as the predecessor. You've got a little storage pocket on the side there, but nothing in the way of hooks or even a 12-volt socket in the back. Again, though, this is just meant to be a city runaround vehicle. And then inside, as usual with Kia products, good practicality. You've got cup holders, even a center console armrest and storage bucket, wireless phone charger on this top spec GT line, heated seats for the front passengers and even a heated steering wheel, push button start, multiple charging options down there, and a big twin screen setup across the dash. Passenger space is pretty good for this type of vehicle. My head's nowhere near the ceiling. You've even got a sunroof on this top spec GT line. It is just a small sunroof, but you can open it right up, electric sliding and retracting. And you've got a decent amount of room to move about, like the center console's not too big. My legs and knees can move about a little bit. The GT line gets these sporty seats in the front. I like the way they've got a cloth trim for the main section, so it's good for breathability, but then it's got leather on the outer sections, so it's going to be resistant to scuffing and wearing as you're getting in and out. They've got a bit of side bolstering to hold you in a little bit, but yeah, nothing too aggressive. For this type of vehicle, I think it's okay. It's not a GT, it's just a GT line. I like the way it's got this multi-tone trim, although I think white should be best kept for areas that you don't touch. So that's going to get a bit mucky and dirty because that's the grab handle. So it'd be better to have white, in my opinion, somewhere along here where you don't touch, and then keep this black. And then up at the back, there's no flip down armrest with cup holders. There's no climate vents in the back of the center console, but it is a small cabin, so climate should get through to the back here pretty easily. I've got a good amount of space. My head's nowhere near the ceiling. I'm 170 centimeters. So if you're a bit taller, I think you'd still be okay. Legroom is pretty good as well. That's in my seating position. So if you slid that seat back a little bit, and if I was a little bit taller, you'd start to get a bit close, but this is a small SUV. It's not promising to be a limousine. You're not going to get much better in other rivals, put it that way. There's no massive center driveline tunnel there, so the middle seat passenger shouldn't be too upset, but like I can't even fit my foot in between there, so you'd have to put your feet on the outside, which is pretty common, I guess. Do have a couple of charging ports down there as well. You've also got bottle holders in the doors and more of that multi-tone trim. All right, let's take it for a drive and I'll show you what it's like. I like the 3-cylinder engine. Turbo 3-cylinder engines have this kind of character about them. They thrum along, they've got a bit of, I don't know, energy to them. With the mild hybrid system, I think it does help just to provide little torque boosts in those gaps where, especially low down in the RPM, where 3 cylinders usually labor a little bit, or at least feel and sound like they're laboring. With this electronic assistance, it does seem to help push it along a little bit quicker than a regular 3-cylinder without mild hybrid tech. Anyway, let's go for a drive and see. We'll do the performance test later on as well. With the switch to mild hybrid tech, fuel consumption has dropped from 5.4 litres per 100 kilometres in the old non-mild hybrid version with the same 1 litre turbo 3-cylinder engine down to 5 litres per 100 kilometres in this. It has the same 45 litre fuel tank, and it does take 91 RON fuel actually, which is pretty interesting. Should help with economy in the long run. It means the theoretical average range using that official average consumption rate is now 900 kilometers, up from around 833 before. Despite this being a new vehicle, or a new model I guess, it's not a brand new generation, but it's not equipped with all of the annoying safety systems. There's no driver monitoring camera that I can see, or it hasn't gone off yet. The lane keep assist is easy to turn off. You just hit this button on the steering wheel, hold it down for a little bit, and the symbol on the dashboard turns orange. Do have stop start, you can turn that off just there pretty easily. And there's no speed limit warning and all that sort of stuff that you end up turning off anyway. It doesn't mean it's not safe, it just doesn't come equipped with some of those, in my opinion, annoying features. Just one of those vehicles you can get in and drive. You don't have to stress about it too much, setting it all up before you even start moving. Now, in terms of handling, this does feature a torsion beam rear suspension setup, but it is quite light. As I said, 1,230 kilograms. That's a very light package in today's market. It means that it feels nimble on the road, but Kia always does a really good job of suspension tuning, so it's able to iron over the bumps that we have on Australian country roads very nicely. It's comfortable, but yet braced and a little bit sporty. You've got a number of different driving modes down here on the steering wheel: Eco, Normal and Sport. In Sport mode, it does actually make it pretty sort of aggressive, I guess. Like, it downshifts when you hit the brakes, and it'll hold up shifts all the way up to pretty much the red line. It feels, yeah, pretty sprightly and fun to drive. You don't have paddle shifters, but you do have a gear shifter here. You just knock it to the side, and you've got plus and minus using the gear shifter. I mean, again, this is not meant to be the GT, it's just a sporty flavoured model, and I think it does just fine. Again, it doesn't come with a CVT gearbox, which is awesome. It means you can actually go out and enjoy a drive and not have that constant whining noise. Speaking of noise, this engine produces a little sort of thud or a thump in between upshifts, almost like a Volkswagen product, you know, with a DSG gearbox. It's only at some load points, so under certain loads, it has this little boom, 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 as you're changing gear, which is really cool actually. I mean, it doesn't sound that loud from the tailpipe, but from the cabin, doesn't feel like, or it doesn't seem like there's any fake sounds coming in, which I reckon is better than fake sounds. Like, even though it is a little bit quiet in terms of volume, the noise is natural. I'll turn the ESC off just to see what's what. Full throttle. Not the torquiest engine. I mean, it says officially it's the same 172 Newton meters as before, but it does seem like that mild hybrid system just fills in those initial gaps and pulls the engine through. Awesome handling. Look at that. That's full throttle around there. No issues at all. No tire squeal. It just railed around exactly where I pointed it. As you can see, it's revving nicely in sport mode. It won't upshift at the wrong time. So it's just downshifted then, ready to punch it out of this corner. Good grip. I mean, we're not talking about huge horsepower anyway, but that's what I like about Kia products. They're very well balanced. You don't get that from some of these new brands that have heaps of power, but then they fall apart when you go to put the power down. Like, it starts to spin the wheels at ridiculous spots. This is just planted and goes, very confident. Overall, I think this is a solid package, like it always has been. With the latest model, yes, it is a bit more expensive, but you are getting more technology. I mean, you could say evolution is natural, it's a given. You should get more technology, but every car is going up in price lately. It's, what are they going to do? Keep it at $25,990 or something like that? Like, it's, I don't think that's feasible in today's world. But yeah, I think that is a bit of a hurdle. I think the steering wheel is annoying, but I mean, you get used to it. It's not that much of a big problem. And then the space over spare, little bit of an issue if you're out in the country and so on, but if you're spending most of the time in the suburbs in the city, probably not going to be that much of an issue. You can find a tyre shop and just replace the tyre. The handling is very good, as it always has been. Kia always does a very good job with handling and dynamics. I think this is a one of the better handling packages in this specific class, in the kind of non-premium compact small SUV class. Just goes where you want. Doesn't have any weird issues with traction or too much power for the tire size or anything like that. It's just a balanced package. Fuel consumption, I'm averaging 8.5 litres per 100 kilometres, but that's thrashing it about pretty much constantly. I've already done performance testing as well. You could definitely get that much lower with extended normal use. Maybe in the 6s or something like that pretty easily. I mean, 8.5, that's probably the highest you could get it. That's just me thrashing it about basically. So yeah, it's got a potential to have good economy, although there are better options out there if you're after absolute economy. Like some of the Toyota hybrids in this class offer awesome economy, but then they're not quite as fun as a little turbo 3-cylinder engine. Cabin space is all pretty good. As I said, it's practical. You could use this as an everyday vehicle or a second car perhaps, and it will do well. All right, let's head off now to do the performance testing and see how it goes. With the dual clutch transmission, it means you can't really build the engine revs up on the brake because it will want to engage the clutch. But what I do with some of these Hyundai Kia products is just do a very quick, what I call mild brake hold. So you put your foot on the brake, just touch the accelerator. I'm talking for 1 second, and just sort of the clutches kind of grab, and then you can release the brake. And sometimes that's quicker, not always, but I'll do both, just flooring it and that sort of mild brake hold, just to see if there's any difference.